Okay, so let's continue our lesson on the components of microwave system. So far we have discussed how many components: directional coupler, first one, and power dividers. Second device we have discussed. They are called power dividers. So as you can see here, this is one example power divider. Power divider, they have one input, divide the signal into two outputs, output 1 and output. There are many type of dividers. We have discussed 190-degree hybrid, 180-degree hybrid, and Wilkinson power divider. Next, our device is called circulator. If we'll come to that also as later, but focus on circulator. Very important device. We call it a circulator. So as you can see here, a circulator, how many port device? It has 3 ports. Port number 1, port number 2, and port number 3. 3 ports. Port means connection where we give input or we take output. We call it a port. Okay. So this device, this circulator, is a 3-port device. 3 cables, 3 devices connected to this circulator. So as you can see in this diagram here, we have antenna connected to which port? Port 2. Here is port 2. So we connect what? Our antenna at port 2 through a cable. Port 1 is go to the transmitter. So here is our TX, our transmitter. Cable comes to port number 1. You can see here. Port number 3 goes to what? The receiver port. So port number 3 here, this cable connects our receiver. You see how many devices connected to this circulator? Our transmitter, our receiver circuit, and our antenna. Let me show you another here. Look here, you can see here a circulator. Port number 1 goes to transmitter, port number 2 go to antenna, port number 3 to the receiver. Similarly here, this is our circulator. This is the transmitter part, right? This is our transmitted data. Go to port number 1, let's say. This is a circulator. Port number 2 connects to our antenna, and port number 3 is connected to our receiver. So always a circulator here, you see one port here, another port here, another 3-port device. So what is the purpose of this circulator? The purpose of a circulator is to guide a signal to the required destination. Okay, so what does it mean by it? When you open a circulator, inside circulator is magnetic structure inside. So let's say this is our transmitter TX. Transmitter cable comes to this, connects to which port? Port 1. Okay, so this is the electrical symbol of a circulator. Electrical symbol of a circulator, the arrow. So this is port number 1, this is port number 2, this is port number 3. Okay, port number 1 here, port number 2 here, port number 3 here. So this arrow is clockwise, right? It's clockwise direction. Keep that in mind. So we connect our transmitter at port 1. Port 2, we connect it to what? Antenna cable. So port 2 goes to the antenna cable. Port 3, we connect our receiver. Okay. Now, look here. If signal comes from port 1 direction as input, it is guided and you will get it because it is a clockwise. You see the circle? This is clockwise direction. Okay. So if signal applied at port 1, it is guided and it will get it output only at port 2 because it is clockwise. What will happen if a signal comes from port 2 input? Now port 2, if it is input, where will be the output? Is it 1 or 3? Because it is clockwise circulator, if signal comes from port 2 side, it only goes to port number 3. Okay. What will happen if signal comes from port 3 side? Here, if signal comes from this side, where will be the output? Is it 2 or 1? It only guided and you will get it output at port 1. So you see circulators, they are used to guide a signal to a required port only. If it comes at port 1, it will be output will be signal will be out at port 2. It will not go in the wrong direction. There is another type of circulator called anti-clockwise circulator. There are two types of circulators. So in this case, the arrow is anti-clockwise. So here we have how many ports? 3 ports. This is port 1. This is port 2, port 3. Now, if a signal comes at port 1 input, this direction, where will be the output? The output will be, you see this is in anti-clockwise. So the signal will go in anti-clockwise direction and you will get it at port 3 output. Because this is anti-clockwise circulator. What will happen if signal is input at port 2? Where is the output? You go anti-clockwise direction and you will get it at port 1. If a signal comes at port 3 as input here, it go anti-clockwise direction, you will get it at port 2. So how many type of circulators? There are 2 type of circulators. This is clockwise circulator, and there is also anti-clockwise circulator. Let me show you. So the symbol you see here, it is circulator. The symbol is what? This is clockwise because of the direction of the angle. When you see microwave systems here, you can find many circulators. Here, 2 circulators. They are clockwise or anti-clockwise? They are clockwise circulators. This is the direction. How many ports? Port 1, port 2, go to what? The antenna. Port 3 here. Okay. So look, this circulator here. It's also clockwise. Clockwise. So how many ports? Port 1, port 2, this cable, this is port 3. 3 ports, 3 cables connected to this circulator. So is it what type of? It is clockwise direction. It's clockwise. How about this circulator here? It is anti-clockwise. This also, you see the direction of the arrow, anti-clockwise. So there are 2 types of circulators, clockwise and anti-clockwise circulators. But what is the purpose of all these circulator devices? To guide a signal into the required destination, the required port only. So let me explain that. What does it mean by this one? Okay. So look here. If you connect your transmitter at port 1, so our circulator is clockwise. Okay. So port 2, we connect our antenna. and port 3 we connect our receiver circuits, RX. Just like this. See here, this is a transmitter cable comes to port number 1, port number 2 go to the antenna, port number 3 go to the receiver. Okay, so now if you want to transmit your data, this is transmitted data, where it goes. Transmitter data is connected to port 1. So if you apply a signal at port 1, where will be the signal transmitted? Which direction? Because this is a clockwise circulator, okay? If you apply a signal at port 1, it's guided go to port 2 only. If you apply input here, the output will be port 2, not port 3. It will not go in the wrong direction, it will clockwise. So if you apply transmitter data, it is not going to the receiver, it's going to from port 1 to what? Port 2. What's port 2? Our antenna. So this transmitter signal transmitted through the antenna. Transmitter signal guided to the antenna only. Now what will happen if signal comes from the antenna side? From port, what's port 2? Our antenna. So now if signal comes from this side, what will happen? It's going to the transmitter or going to the receiver. This port 2, so port 1 goes to port 2 output. If signal comes from port 2, what's our port 2? Antenna here, okay? Port 2 is connected to the antenna. So if the antenna receives a signal, where it goes? If signal comes from the antenna side, it's port 2, where will be the output? Will be port 3, because signal is guided in clockwise direction and the output will be here. What is port 3? Our port 3 is our receiver here. So look here, this circulator is used as here as a duplexer. We are using it as what? A duplexer. Duplex communication. Duplex communication means you can transmit, receive simultaneously without any interference. If takes data only guided to the antenna, we transmit it. RX data only guided to port 3, which is receivers. We can transmit, receive simultaneously using one single antenna. Because of what? Because of this very important device, we call it a circulator. Okay, we call it a circulator. So to revise what we have discussed, a circulator is a report device. Internally, there is a magnet which is used to, because our signal is electromagnetic signal, it interacts with the magnet. So the magnet guides the signal only to one port. So what type of circulator is this? There are two types. We said this is anti-clockwise, right? So anti-clockwise means if signals comes at port 1, it's guided only at port 2 as output. You will not get a signal at port 3 now. All the input signal at port 1, output will be port 2. If signal comes at port 2, it goes anti-clockwise direction. Here is the output. If signal comes from port 3, it is guided to port 1 only. Okay, this is anti-clockwise circulator, as you can see here. Okay, so it has also so many applications. This circulator device, we have seen here one application which is used as a duplexer. So what's a duplexer means? Here we have a transmitter. So signals, this data will be modulated, up converted by a mixer, amplified, and go to which part? This circulator. Okay, this circulator is used as a duplexer circulator. What is the purpose? Look, this only one antenna. We can transmit and we can receive simultaneously. but the transmit signal only go to the antenna, the receive signal only go to the receiver part, no mixing. Okay, that's why we call it circulator.